All right. Well, hi, Luke. Thanks for sitting down to join us today. Just kind of kick off with the first question. You said that your first trip to India was the spark that made you want to write. Was there a single moment in that taxi ride or anything that crystallized that idea for you?
Yeah, so the story I told was just that first initial sort of overwhelm of arriving in a new place. It was my first time in Asia. And it was just the realization of all these stories and all of this life outside of what we know and what we experience and what I'd experienced at that time. And it was just that thought that I wanted other people to have that moment. If I could have taken all of my friends and my family to sit there with me and show them that sort of breadth of the world and that excitement, that's what I wanted to do. And that's what I continue to try and do in my stories.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it sounds like you're doing a good job of it. Of all the places your characters have traveled, which location challenged you the most as a writer to capture authentic?
That's a good question. I think it was probably in my second book, which is set in Egypt and Giza, involving the pyramids. And the reason why that was so challenging is because people have such a preconception of what that's like. And so many great writers have used that as a backdrop to their stories. So it's almost like you're going against or coming up against all of these writers in the storytelling there. But then there have been others. I've told stories about Templars and about Angkor Wat in Cambodia, which are covered a lot. So there are these challenges trying to tell a unique story in these places that have been spoken about a lot as well.
Absolutely. Well, moving on, what does your process look like when you're plotting an international thriller? Do you start with the destination, the crime, the character? What's kind of that first step for you?
It always starts with the place for me. We're travelers. I love to travel and see the places that I write about. And quite often I don't have a perception of what that story is until we arrive in the place and I see something and it just clicks. I'm like, wow, that could be a story. And then I have to percolate on it. I have to sit on that idea for a while. Sometimes a scene will appear in my mind and I've just got this image of the scene and then I sort of put it together in a story. Now, when I start writing, I sit down, sort of fingers on keyboard. I don't know exactly where the story's going to go. I have often these couple of quite disjointed scenes and a setting or two. And that is the writing process for me, is sort of putting those ideas together, bolting them together, laying them out in a way that will engage the reader and take them on a journey.
Absolutely. Very interesting. Well, on that note, how do you keep up the momentum high, or how do you keep the momentum high in fast-paced plots without sacrificing character depth?
Yeah, that's a good question. The thing that I try to do, and the thing that I say to other writers, is that every scene needs to sort of earn its place in the story. There's no fluff. There's no time for anything that shouldn't be there. Every scene, every chapter, every dialogue, everything in there has to move the story towards that destination. And I've spoken to a lot of younger writers about this because they love to sort of step aside from the story and have some characters talking and all of this. I'm like, nope. If it's not serving the purpose of getting us to that destination, of moving us forwards, then it shouldn't be there. In my stories, that's quite straightforward because the characters have a clear mission. They need to stop this disaster, find this relic, and defeat the bad guy. But then in other stories, that is a bit more nebulous because it's perhaps a bit more introspective or not quite so realistic. And for me, it's all about doing that thing. If the scene doesn't do that thing, it has no place in the story.
So, well, more on your characters. When you're developing new characters, do you draw inspiration from people you've met in your travels or just people that you come up with in your brain?
Both. I have a saying which is written in the back of most of my books, in fact, and it says, if we ever meet, be careful what you say, because you might end up in one of my books.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so be careful.
Oh, that's great. Well, moving on, talking about your writing toolkit, do you have anything that's just a non-negotiable part? Maybe an app, a notebook, a ritual, something that you can't go without?
Very simple, Word document, keep it really straightforward. I don't do all of these things where, there's the apps can like ban the internet or stop you from these things. No, really straightforward, Word document. I always change the color background to be like blue or green or something. My editor's always teasing me because I don't like the bright white of the back page. put some music on and just get myself into it.
That's
I
that.
normally work for about 45 minutes and then go and have a coffee or water the plants or whatever and come back and do some more after that.
That's great. Well, with your work, do you ever hit creative slumps? And if so, what helps reignite your?
Yeah, it's a good question, and that's true. I do sometimes. It's not. Yeah, I don't work like some of the people here. There's people at this conference that are saying I've written a book in 30 days. I wrote 30 books in that year or something like this, and that's not for me. I write 2 or 3 books a year, and doing that, I avoid those creative slumps, that burnout, and it's listening into my creative sort of spirit as well. What do I feel like doing today? As we're recording this, it's the start of May. I released my last book at the end of last year. So I've had a few months where I've done some editing projects and done some other sort of collaboration things, but not written any new word myself. Now I'm excited to. So when I get back to home in a week or so, I'm going to get on and really get started with the next book.
Great. Well, it's good to hear it. Do you have a specific piece of or a feedback that a reader has given you that was meaningful or really stuck out or maybe surprising?
It's a good question. Not specifically about the books, although readers do provide feedback of all different. Hello. Not specifically about the books, but although readers do give advice and do give feedback, some of which is useful, some of which is not. But I suppose it's about understanding how those books fit into a reader's life. And I say this to other writers and to people as well, is that readers are busy. They're doing lots of other stuff, and our books are sort of the background to that. So they need to really draw the reader in, and you can't have the time for them to put it down and lose interest. Once they're in, they need to sort of sail right the way through in one sitting, if possible.
Absolutely. Well, you're talking about getting excited about writing a new book. Is there any country or region or part of the world that you're eager to explore?
To explore. Load. South America has got to be on the calendar at some point. I haven't done there, haven't set any books there, so that needs to happen. That won't be this year. We've got a couple of trips planned later in the year, but yeah, there's many books to write in lots of different places for sure.
Love it. Well, if you could take one of your characters on a real trip with you, who would you choose and where would you go?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, it's got to be the leading character in my archaeological thrillers, a young lady called Eden Black. She's travelled widely. She knows lots of things. She's a bit of a kick-ass sort of feisty young woman. And I think travelling anywhere with her would be great fun. Although she does have this ability to sort of attract danger, which is of my own invention, of course. So maybe it wouldn't be the easiest trip to take.
Oh my, well, that's great. Well, overall, I'd love to hear about your experience at GPS 2025 and then just what you think about organizing events like this where top authors share their strategies.
Well, I don't know anything about organizing it. It's not a job I'd like to do. So thank you for you and the team for doing that for us. But I have really enjoyed being here, connecting with other authors, some people sharing their hard-won advice from the stage. And I've got a whole notebook full of stuff that I need to do after I've written the next book when I get home, for sure.
Well, great. I'm happy to hear it. Thank you for your time. And it's been great to ask you a couple questions.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.